All right, we go into what are we on the third episode here? Albert Neuron versus Kobane Prison Administration rights infringement lawsuit. Let's see if we get anything right on the last episode. Uh-oh, we have 2 mails. I see that. Oh, my phone. It was Richard, right? It's the Prime Minister. He knows he put... Yes, Prime Minister. I didn't want our first meeting to be about such a matter. I don't quite understand, Prime Minister. The public is eagerly awaiting today's verdict in the case. I have full faith that you will do what is right for our country and won't prolong this issue. Frankly, I don't quite understand what you're saying. It seems I need to be a bit clear. You won't punish a government institution for doing what's necessary, will you? The verdict in this case will be determined in the courtroom. Making such a request is highly inappropriate. I must have misunderstood you. Of course, there's the reputation of our country is far more important than that of the convict. It will be determined in the courtroom. He can hate me all he wants. You now know my decision. We could talk it out again after the trial if necessary. Good luck. What a douche. Oh, I always forget this. There we go. I remembered it today. Hello, sir. I'd be honored to quickly brief you on the most recent case. Does not take up too much of our time. The case regarding the matter at Kabardi Port did find its place in the press, but it got lost among similar news stories. There isn't a clear consensus among social media users and politicians regarding your case. Quite routine. It's okay. That means I did right. I prepared documents for your upcoming case and let them on the table in the courtroom for you. Additionally, the attorneys are waiting for you in the courtroom for the pre-trial. All right. My wounded heart, I can't help but think of you. Everybody likes Judge Richard. Corruption. No, I can't even click on that. All right. Oh, I had 2 correct decisions. Look at me. All right, let's do the pre-trial, see what we got going on here. The refugees are quite pleased with the acceptance they received from the public, which indicates they will soon have better conditions. Okay. Everybody wears the same outfit. All right, let's see what the plaintiff wants. Ethan Johnson. My client is serving his sentence at Kabardi Prison for the crime he committed. However, in recent days, an action has been taken, such as sentencing my client to solitary confinement despite his not exhibiting any negative behavior. The prison administration has abused its authority. During this process, my client has experienced psychological and physical distress. We are filing a complaint against the prison administration for this reason. Oh, okay. Oberon Templeton. My client, Kabardi Prison Administration, would like to remind that there are conditions that criminals must adhere to as stipulated by the law. The regulations prescribe punishment for the prisoner who does not adhere to these conditions. Albert Neuron was found to have skipped a meal during the cafeteria hours and initiated a hunger strike, which led to his sentencing to solitary confinement. Starting a strike is prohibited according to the prison regulations, and punishment is solitary confinement. There's no basis for this unfounded claims of the plaintiff. Your Honor, the witness Laura Martinez has a close relationship with the prison warden. Therefore, it's not possible for her to respond impartially. We request that you reject her testimony as a witness. Yeah, if she's close, we can't listen to her. I do want to see the prison laws, though, and see what we've got cooking with that. Oh, these are terrible. $50 in cash. Very nice. The lawsuit begins. Prisoners may file a lawsuit in court against penalties imposed on them by the prison administration. The court assesses the legality and proportionality of the penalty. It may annul or rectify the penalty if it is unjust or unnecessary. The right of prisoners to appeal and their right to a fair trial are preserved. Okay. Court behavior. Indifferent, anxious, he's sloppy. She's anxious as well. Well, let's see what we've got here. Prison Albert Neuron, although he did not exhibit any negative behavior during his time in prison, claimed that he was sentenced to solitary confinement and suffered psychological harm as a result. And therefore, he filed a lawsuit against the prison administration. He alleged that he was subjected to inhuman treatment. The prison administration on hearing stated that the prisoner was sentenced to solitary confinement because he did not comply with the necessary instructions and conditions, and there was no unlawful situation. Okay, so they'll still have 2 witnesses here. Inmate status provides information about the prisoner's conditions, provides information about the conditions of solitary confinement. It has been determined that the prisoner did not eat for 3 days. He initiated a hunger strike. He continued the strike. So they did warn him and he kept doing it. It has been decided to examine the prisoner in infirmary potential health issues. So they're trying to keep him from starving to death. Okay, here we go. Inmates cannot pose a security threat to prison staff. It doesn't. Not escaping. It's not violent. Okay, so he cannot initiate a hunger strike. That's clearly in the rules. It's even Rule 4 not added on the end. And their personal safety. So he's against 2 of them right there. Okay. Continuously violating the rules. So it's not looking good for our boy. All right, let's hear the plaintiff. What were your behaviors before being sentenced to solitary confinement? I did not exhibit any negative behavior in prison. I followed all the rules. Okay, you think you want to expunge on that a little bit? He does have a criminal record. He killed somebody. Okay. And he's serving 6 years for that. Did you experience any illegal intervention? Certainly. However, since the witnesses presented to the court are from prison administration, they will not mention it. Do you have any intention to incite a riot? Fuck that shit, let's start a riot. Never. I've never had such an intention. I'm only defending my rights because I believe I did not deserve solitary confinement. He didn't. If he's not eating, but I guess it's like, did he eat before they put him in there? Wait. Never mind. He's bringing the suit against them. So this is the court. This is the prison that's answering back. Okay. Why did the prisoner not eat during cafeteria hours and start a hunger strike? The prisoner exhibited behavior contrary to prison discipline and initiated a hunger strike. Perhaps in somewhat amusing way, he aimed to establish a power balance over the prison administration. But you will agree that this is not possible. Well, that's kind of a stupid thing. Is the regulation applied to the prisoner in compliance with the law, or was there any behavior that was not in accordance with the law? Is entirely in compliance, sir. As you know, there are certain provisions under Article 13 for such situations. The prison administration has used its authority within the framework of the regulations to maintain order. How is the situation of prisoners sentenced to solitary confinement evaluated? Situation of prisoners sentenced to solitary confinement is evaluated based on their non-compliance with the prison regulations, and the appropriate punishment is applied. And he did not eat before they put him in there, so it's not looking good for our boy. All right, let's talk to Greg. He's a cleaner. Can you provide information about the behavior of the prisoner sentenced to solitary confinement? Prisoner lifted the tray placed in front of him and threw it on the floor, sir. Afterwards, he started yelling, "Hunger strike! Revolt! Don't be a herd! Hunger strike!" Okay. What was the psychological condition of the prisoner being sentenced to... How would the cleaner know? There was no noticeable or unusual change in his general mood before. However, I can say that he exhibited more tense behavior after solitary confinement. Perhaps he succumbed to a desire for revenge. Okay, that's speculation. Earlier, you mentioned the prisoner's behavior inciting a riot. Was their behavior supported by other prisoners, or do you think it was a planned protest as a group? No, Your Honor. It was just watched in astonishment by everyone. Some were indifferent, and some just laughed. There's no evidence that he planned with this with others. In my opinion, it was a spontaneous developed outburst of personal anger. Okay. So if nothing really come of it. All right, manager. What do you know about the situation of the prisoner sentenced to solitary confinement? The prisoner's behavior was evaluated according to the prison regulations and acted upon in accordance with the law, sir. Okay. Was there any situation or a disproportionate intervention that would negatively affect the prisoner's psychology? Frankly, there is no evidence of such a thing, sir. To maintain order, the regulations stipulated by law were followed. I do agree that even if he was doing it as a joke. What are your thoughts on the prisoner's allegations? Your Honor, prisoners sometimes exhibit such behavior to escape from their environment. Since I am not fully informed about the events, in the current case, it would not be ethical for me to make a definite statement. Yeah, I agree with that. And we don't have a video on this or anything. I just don't think it was. I just don't think that it was a big enough deal. I mean, this is the laws. He initiated a hunger strike. It was kind of riotous, and he hadn't ate for 3 days, so he's continuously violating the laws. So, I mean, I can't side with him in this. Um, yeah, I just defendant one. I just there's nothing here. What do I do with all this money? I wonder. The public is demanding an increase in penalties for crimes such as murder and theft. What are your thoughts on this? I don't think we want to get too hasty. I think our laws are quite good for now. All right. So I think I just went out to the main menu. I didn't mean to do that. We'll go into the next case, but I thought maybe I would get a chance to buy something. There's quite a bit of cases here. I mean, I'm getting money. What do I do with it? All right, we got Christopher Kurt and Nosbart Municipality land case. Oh, that sounds exciting. Maybe I order stuff here and I'm just not paying attention. Oh, another phone call. I'm trying to answer. Mayor, hello, Your Honor. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I have limited time, but I could spare some for you. I know how precious your time is, Your Honor. I have a case to be heard shortly, so I'd like to hear what you have to say. Yes, I'm calling you specifically about that matter. What do you mean? In today's case, I believe our municipality is in the right, and I assume that you've also realized this. Your decision will be a favor of that, won't it? Wow. The purpose of the courtrooms is to listen to the people, make the right decisions. That's enough talk for now. Man, it's our law on this one. An individual organization commits the crime of. Okay, I don't think this is. Yeah, that's all the laws. I thought it would already be ready for us. All right, let's see what we have in this one. So can I no. So here's my bank. Like it says I have notifications and stuff, but what do I do with it? I guess nothing right now. Yeah, there's just nothing for me to do here. Supreme Court loves me. My spouse is kind of okay. Let's see. Hello, sir. Firstly, I apologize for being slightly late. As you know, there were many allegations made before this case, and it caused quite a sensation to the public. It took me some time to gather all of them. I'd like to provide you with this information. Social media and politicians closely followed the situation. Your decision received criticism from some quarters while garnering support from others. The government and the Ministry of Justice reacted swiftly and closely monitored the case. Additionally, this case brought the issue of social media legislation back in the spotlight. Last time we could say that this was your first high-profile case. All eyes were truly on you. Okay. As far as I know, there will be a full moon tomorrow night. Don't let anyone miss it. All right. I don't know. I can't even get off of this now. Let's see what we got in the news. Landowner Christopher Schultz takes on a local municipality in dispute over a piece of land containing valuable historical artifacts. He stumbled upon these artifacts while excavating his property and promptly reports the findings to the authorities. The discovery prompted swift action from municipal officials who cordoned off the area and restricted access to it. The decision was met with frustration by Kurt, who accused the municipality of obstructing the use of his own land and attempting to acquire it at a price significantly below its market value. In response to these allegations, he filed a lawsuit against the municipality, arguing that their actions amounted to an infringement on his property rights and a violation of his ability to use land as he sees fit. He's seeking compensation for the financial losses, he claims. The city, on the other hand, contends that the area in question holds significant cultural and historical value and should be preserved for the benefit of the public. Now, in most cases, and I'm not sure about Corbard law here, if you find something like that on your property, the government can come in and take over that. Now, not your land, but they can take the items. Sometimes they give fair value, sometimes they don't. Okay, education reforms. I don't even want to read about education. I work in education reform enough. Let's see. Before today's trial, we once again saw the importance of social media law. It's surprising. Mr. Judge, you sided with the traitors. Okay. I don't know how I sided with the traitors. How could you tolerate the inhuman practices in prisons? How were you able to suppress the allegations of rebellion and cover up the government incompetence? The dude didn't eat. They followed the law. Get over it. All right. Let's go pretrial. I'm glad we're getting everybody all tore up. Oh, public loyalty went down. Why? Because I didn't want to make stricter laws? Okay. That's good to know. All right, let's see what the plaintiff wants to do. Just stand back up, buddy. James Stewart. My client came across several high-value historical artifacts while excavating for agricultural purposes on his land and immediately reported the situation to the authorities. However, as soon as the authorities arrived, they cordoned off a large area and prohibited access. They informed us that the municipality would acquire a substantial portion of the land and provide an offer regarding the price. However, the price they communicated and pressured us to sell at is way below the actual value. Okay, that could be an issue of the land. Therefore, we are requesting the payment of the true value of the land to us. Okay, that makes sense. Let's let Balthazar, my client, knows Bart Municipality, promptly arrived in the scene upon receiving the call, and following an examination by expert personnel, determined that there were even more historical artifacts in the ground in this area. So they found even more, so that increases the value of it. A decision for immediate expropriation was made for this land, and an appropriate price for the land was determined and delivered to the rightful owner. According to the law, it is mandatory to sell the price determined by the municipality. We request a dismissal of the plaintiff's demands. No objections. Hopefully I can see what the value of the land value is. All right, what do we got here? Your relationship with the government will increase by 5 points. Excellent. The lawsuit begins. Property owners or affected parties may file a lawsuit in a court against the expropriation decision made by the municipality. The court evaluates whether the expropriation decision is lawful and whether the expropriation is necessary for public interest. If it is determined an expropriation is not in compliance with laws or that there is no public interest requirement, the decision is annulled or revised. Okay, the plaintiff is respectful, he's excited, and he's neat. The defendant is careless, indifferent. So the city's banking that I'm just going to go ahead and give it to them. Okay. We've got 3 witnesses. We got Brixton, Clementine, and Annabelle. All right, let's hear the plaintiff. The farmer. How did you determine the true value of land? Your Honor, we consulted with an expert on the matter. After conducting the necessary assessments, the expert stated that the value is $1.1 million. Okay. Expert who 1.1 million. Okay, 1.112. Got it. What was the price proposed by the municipality for the land? 500,000, Your Honor. Okay. Yeah, that seems shady. What criteria do you consider for the land's true value? We considered factors such as the sales price of similar plots, regional appraisals, and expert opinions. Okay. So they actually used real life values. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. That's all I need from you. Let's see what Balthazar has to say about it. How was the expropriation decision made for the land? Our experts evaluated the significance of the historical artifacts in the excavation area, and we made the decision for expropriation. So they're just valuing the artifacts. The other guy's valuing the land and what he was going to use it for and stuff. Is the price offered to the landowner in accordance with the law? Yes. The price offered to the landowner has been assessed in compliance with the law. Has it though? What are the consequences if the landowner refuses to sell the land? We will follow the legal process and resort to the courts if necessary. Our aim is to proceed with the purchase that is in public interest. Okay. All right, let's go to Brixton. Who is Brixton? He's a specialist. What steps are taken if the landowner refuses to sell the land? Legal proceedings are initiated, and the expropriation process continues in accordance with legal procedures. How are the landowner's rights protected during the expropriation process? The landowner's rights and legal protections were upheld through the expropriation process, with regular information provided at each stage. Okay, that's not telling me how they were protected. What was the price offered to the landowner? Why was the price offered to the landowner considered inadequate? The price offered to the landowner was considered adequate in accordance with the actual value of the land, but it was believed that a more detailed assessment should be conducted during the court process. Okay. So Brixton even says there should be more eval on the land. Okay. Got it. All right, Clementine, get up here, darling. She's a servant. How did the expropriation process unfold? The process proceeded in accordance with legal procedures, considering the significance of the historical artifacts and the rights of the landowner. How was the value of the land determined? The value of the land was determined through appraisal work conducted by experts and regional assessments. See, here's where I'm confused. We don't know if she's her eyeshadow is distracting enough. It looks like two burning suns coming at me, but I don't know whether she's like the one that the plaintiff hired or if it's the one the city hired. Was a fair price offer presented to the landowner? Yes, a fair price offer in the public interest was presented to the landowner. Okay. Okay, so Clementine says in the public's interest, a fair value was given. All right. Annabelle. Oh, she's the archaeologist. Okay. What's the significance of the historical artifacts found in the excavation area? The historical artifacts found in the excavation area reflect the cultural and historical value of the region. Tells me absolutely nothing, Annabelle. As somebody who did history and political science in college in a triple major, you were by far the worst archaeologist who I've ever heard in my life. What kind of discussion did you have while contacting the landowner? We had a discussion with the landowner explaining the importance of the historical artifacts and the expropriation process. Okay, yeah, that's cool. The city's come with all this value and stuff, but you're wanting to stifle him. What type of information was provided to the landowner after expropriation? Information was provided to the expropriation process that would be carried out legally and the rights of the landowner would be protected. Again, that tells me absolutely nothing. You are so infuriating. All right, let's see what's in here. Okay. So Christopher Kurt here, or whatever his name is, has done the right thing. And they're keeping him from doing his job, which is farming, I guess. Well, it says he was excavating, so it's untelling what he was doing. Okay. Historical artifacts contains information about objects in the plot. The city council decision. Okay. And the land value report by an independent organization. Okay, that's what I'm excited about. Okay, so they found a statue. A statue. I said that's so country. I don't know what ST means. A mosaic piece. And a mummified wolf. So they found 2 golds and stone. Okay. Does this tell me what the ST stands for? Okay. The decision has been made to expropriate 76% of the land located in parcel 1748 based on a value of $500,000 due to the presence of remains and historical heritage. So they're going to take 76%. Oops. So the city council is going to take, yeah. So it was Karen Davis who called me. Okay, 1.1, the determination's value is based on considerations such as soil type, total area, and location is revealed by examinations. They've given me 3 reference points. What is this? 19. How many is this one? That's a big one. That one kind of throws it off, but okay. There's no other. I think he should get more value because I mean I know what they're going for, but I'm just not. I'm not siding with them. Oh, so I thought I would be able to give him more money. So I'm not going to allow it because I want him to get more money. This is if I approve, I get more rankings with this, but I'm going to hit cancel. They're probably going to be mad at me. I'm probably going to die. Supreme Court is considering new judge appointments. What are your thoughts on this? We are working overtime. It could be beneficial. Yeah, sure. Why not? That'll get some pressure off my back.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Thomas. Subscribe if you have not. And if you enjoyed the video and you want to help the channel grow, all you got to do is hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to support the channel, there's a plethora of ways to do that down in the description. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.